Hey everyone, it's baze.djunkiii transmitting from Hamburg, Germany, back with a new video, and back with a new quick vinyl talk video, kind of, because I decided, well, while I'm digging through the collection I'm taking over slowly from my man Sascha Müller, I might take you on a journey and provide you with a little bit of info inside a few records I picked out from that collection, which kind of provided a challenge for me maybe, and as a vinyl collector and a DJ, kind of, especially white labels, provide a lot of a challenge. And well, there was one record here which came exactly with this much information. Well, UNK 11, a white label, and that sent me down a rabbit hole. And actually I found out that all the records, seemingly to what I found on photos on Discogs, came from the label, basically with the Matrix catalog number written on the white label. It's not a full white label record, but this is a promo, so this is it, a 4-track record, which was kind of thrilling musically, because well, obviously it sounded like mid-90s, and it was mid-90s, and sound-wise this was really interesting, because the first track on the A side, the which is called The Sunlight, started like a proper banging club techno track, like the kind of music that Steve Mason would have been playing like around 94, 95. But then drifted off into an unexpected like big beat kind of direction, and with a lot of like techie steps, but and also techie drum sounds, but it was like kind of big beat. The A2 track, that is Passage of Time, was like high-speed breakbeat mixed in with a kind of acid feel. And on the B side there is one track, the B2, the name like escapes me right now, which sounds like very early The Crystal Method, probably the Vegas album, that kind of music mixed with a little bit of like Empyrean. Probably you remember those on XL recordings back in 96 or 97. They had like great album which had some like IDM-ish breakbeat electro tracks with a little bit of acid in there, and probably a little bit of energy that was to be found in like the Prodigy's Fat of the Land album, but without vocals, without heavy guitar riffing, but with very technoid sounds. And turned out, after a little bit of research, that this project is called The Riot. And I don't know if that was like an incident where they missed just a space, or it was like on purpose, because The Riot is like one word, so not split in two. And the record was called Sunlight, on a label that is called Unknown Records, so hence the title of this video. The Riot were like two German producers, Dennis Schneider and Lars MOD, which had like under this name actually only 2 releases, I guess, if I remember correctly from like having a Discogs research. But they ran another project, and this was released actually in 1996. So my association with like the techie end of big beat, chemical, more like chemical breaks actually, seem to be correct. The Unknown Records label was part founded by a producer that was called Alexander Burkhardt, which also released on Force Inc. US, like Force Inc. being the mothership German techno label, acid label, house label, but also the mothership of a few other things like Disco Inc., Force Inc. US, of course, then the big electronica label Mill Plateau, and another label which escapes me right now, which was more like breakbeat, dark jungle oriented, and of course Position Chrome later on. But yeah, this was like a kind of, not an oddball release for what I expected to take over from Sascha, even though he was more like a kind of techno, acid, trance, whatever DJ, more on the 4 to the floor thing. But this is like unexpectedly breakbeat oriented, big beat oriented, and a really nice addition to the collection actually. And yeah, what drove me crazy, of course, was the search for this one, because just operating with the matrix number and the Discogs search is not that easy actually. And well, if the label that is called unknown records, like if you put that into like a Discogs database for a search and put in unknown, this is like well, actually quite tricky. But it's funny that a label back in those days like preferred a name that provided a kind of anonymity and made it, well, Google wasn't a thing back then, search engines weren't a thing back then, but like kind of guaranteed anonymity for a forever time, kind of, because if you put in like unknown records into a Google search, well, will not turn out anything, I guess. So that's one of those records I found, and I added to my collection recently. Good stuff. Thank you, big shout out to Sascha, of course, for like letting me taking care of the his collection, kind of, and putting those to use. In terms of putting those records and records in general to use, I've decided, due to circumstances, to quit my record show at radio show at Radio Fluka for now, because I cannot like get my mind around like putting two records together in the mix. So I decided after 5 years I'm taking a break, probably a forever break from that show. But as Demor Harun, who's the leader of the operation, told me, they will keep my slot open and they will kind of rebroadcast the 5 years of shows I've done for them. So I'm really grateful to be part of the station in that regard, even though it's like only archival mixes that will run on the station for now. And I will not pick up for the time being another radio show, because I will focus on other things. Yeah, that's news. So that's why the dates down there in the doobly-doos disappeared for now. I'm not too sure what is happening with DJing in general, but I have like more of a Discogs focus, of course, and more of a sales focus and more of a business focus right now. And this is where I put my head, I guess. So that's news. Otherwise, not much to share. Probably another video. Of course, I set up a Discogs profile, a Instagram profile for my Discogs operation as well, which is linked at the very end of or very bottom of the doobly-doos. And I guess I'll be back with another video in quite a short time, because there's more records I discovered I want to cover on this channel for sure. And maybe this will be a path to go down, even though it's not achievable fully. But I think putting out more Vinyl Talk videos, introducing more records like these, which are unknown and underrated, to more collectors and probably more fans, might be a way to go down. And if I think about like the 5,000 or 6,000 or 8,000 records that are sitting here, this might be a thing to do until I retire fully, like in terms of retire from life in like, I don't know, 40 years time or so. We'll see how that goes, but for now I'm out. I'm gonna go into editing mode. See you in the next one.